Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Accommodation Show. This week, I'm joined by the wonderful Mark Simpson from Boostly. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me and for getting up very early on the morning to speak to me.
Well, actually, it's a bit of an evening one for you, so I appreciate you for coming on and staying up and staying awake for us. Mark, how's it going?
Yeah, good. Thank you very much. Just got off doing a couple of days doing a Book Direct Live, which was good, which is exciting, spreading the word of all things direct bookings. So just started the year strong. Excited to see what this year holds for our little industry called short-term rentals.
Would you say that you're the most influential person in direct bookings in the short-term rental industry?
Now, I'm one of. I was obviously, I've been in this industry now for 15, 16 years, doing Boostly for the last 10. And when I came in, you had the likes of, who was talking about direct bookings, Heather Bayer, Matt Landau, Yvonne Hallin, and then Amy Hino, who started Book Direct, I think, all those years ago. And I've just sort of lent my voice to the amphitheater, so to speak. But the cool thing now is that there is a lot of people talking about direct bookings, like way more than just one person. So it's cool to see. And, you know, I think it's having an impact. I really do think it's having an impact. So long may it continue.
Yeah, I think so. And it's interesting because I think if we think about it in the hotel world, it was I would say the hotel world was much more sophisticated in the short-term rental space. And you'd have all the different distribution channels, and they were constantly changing and evolving as time went on. I mean, you'd have salespeople picking up the phone, and that would be a channel of going getting more business. And Book Direct was important, but maybe also not as well understood as it could be. And now you have all the major players, the Accors and the Marriotts that have got massive loyalty programs, and Book Direct is part of their core strategy and one of their value propositions that they offer. You know, that's why you join Accor, is because people are booking direct. You can get that those direct customers coming in and that loyalty coming through. And for a smaller business, it's been a lot less attainable, right? A lot less. You can't a bigger barrier to access to get direct bookings, because it is a bit more complex. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think in the world of hotels, direct bookings are easy. I come from like a bed and breakfast / small boutique hotel background, and it was so easy getting direct bookings. I really noticed the shift when we opened up our holiday cottages, which were more the rental side. It wasn't so easy, and I feel like hotels have got it made. I feel like short-term rentals have fight an uphill battle, but the good thing is that it's not impossible, right? You either there's two things I always say: you either got a ton of money and you haven't got a lot of time, or you've got a lot of time and you haven't got a lot of money. So either way, you've got to try and figure out what you have, and then either if you've got a ton of money and no time, go and hire great people that can come into your business, whether it's virtual or in-house, to do all the things for you. There's a kind of topic on the side, which we'll talk about today, which is AI. And then on the other side, if you've got loads of time but haven't got the money, then you've got to get in and do the graft. You got to do the work. That's why I wrote that book. I think you can see it on my shoulder, the Book Direct Playbook. 101 tactics that I used and over 2,000 people have used over the last 10 years that have generated $1 billion in booking. So there are ways to do it. And yeah, if you're a hotel, it'll be easier, but it's not impossible.
But even in the hotel space, a lot of the independents, if you go to their websites, they're not great.
Which is why me and you do websites, for that whole reason. You know what I mean?
Right. It's crazy, right? Even after we've been in it for 5.5 years. I think you've been by maybe 7 or 8 years that you've been plugging away, but yet the need is still there to build really great websites, because there's a real lack of understanding as how to build it well. And on that, what do you think it is that holds people back? We talked about time and money and that sort of thing, and there'll be businesses that are turning over millions of dollars, right? Or that are even making millions of dollars of profit, and they haven't addressed their Book Direct strategy. Their websites still suck. They might be just using a PMS solution, which is okay, but not amazing. Maybe not doing all the things that it could do. What do you think it is that actually holds them back from going, oh, let's get an agency in or a company in, or let's address this?
The things that I've noticed over time. So like I said, I'm very fortunate doing this for 10 years. We've worked directly with over 2,000 people. We've also, seen a lot of people come through my Instagram DMs asking questions and whatnot. A lot of the times it is knowledge, right? So if you're doing it yourself, I even if you're doing lots of money and you're hiring people, the knowledge in sales and marketing is lacking. You know, if you've got somebody who is good at sales and marketing, then you're on to a winner, because all they have to do is apply very simple sales tactics, and that's how you get direct bookings. Even if your website is a shoddy looking PMS one, and again, this is not any PMS, they're just all as bad as each other, because it's not their core business model, and they admit this. You know, I speak to all of them, and they all say to me, "Listen, well, it's not our core business model." So I think it literally comes down to knowledge and not being at the top of the game. When they do work with somebody as well, this is what I've noticed, is that they'll go and hire a company that aren't specialists in this industry, right? They may have a website that's got all the graphics and got all the cool, fancy things, but they don't know this industry. It's like, you know, me. It's like me trying to put a website together for a barbershop, right? It's not going to work, right? We know hospitality inside out. So you got to stick in your lane. And sometimes people get sucked in with the company that comes to you with the boom, boom, boom graphics and da 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 da. But if they don't know this industry, then and they don't know how a true direct booking website works, then it's never gonna work. And again, I always say this: stylistically, you don't need a website that's got all singing, all dancing Mona Lisa for a website design. Go look at Airbnb, go look at booking.com, go look at Verbo. It's just basic. It's not basic, but it just does the job. Go look at Marriott, go look at Hilton. You wouldn't say that they are the Mona
Yeah,
Lisa of websites, but they are there to get a looker into a booker in the shortest space time as possible. And that's truly what
sure.
we've just tried to mimic over the years.
For sure. I mean, that's very comparable to websites like Google, Reddit, Craigslist. They were never fancy websites. It was all just about functionality more than anything else.
Mm,
Even if you look at where Google's at right now, I think that probably people don't even scroll down the page at all. They just put the search in, they get the result at the top, and that's it. They're done and dusted, right? So, and that's just about functionality and what people are looking for, not about all the jazz that kind of surrounds it, right? And people, when they're trying to achieve something, they just need a solution. Where am I going? What does it look like? How much is it going to cost me? And that sort of thing. But I want to go back to the question. Um, so you're saying that people that are making a fair bit of money, they don't have enough knowledge to go in and do this. But what's actually, I mean, they could easily pick up the phone, give you or me a call and be like, hey, I want a new website. I want to get this done. But I would say that probably around about 90% of the market hasn't done it, or they've got a solution that doesn't really work. What's holding those people back from actually going and spending the money and going, all right, I want to get this sorted, or that it's not a priority? And I think that's what I'm trying to get at, is that, you know, they're doing all these different things within their business. And I think what you were touching on before, that maybe they've been burnt in the past, you know, and now it's like, oh, well, you know, who do I trust? It's all a bit too hard. Do the numbers really make sense? What's holding them
mm,
back from actually making the decision to get book direct sorted? Because if we're talking about automating our business, we're talking about having it run better and being more profitable for me and you. It's a no brainer because we understand it.
mm.
What's holding them back?
Well, I know this is what we do. If someone comes to us, right, and let's just say they book a call, one of the first things that we do is we've got this calculator on our website that we show them. And we show them, like, listen, if you continue the route that you're going, so we say 100 listings, let's say 70% of your bookings come in from, I don't know, Airbnb, your average rate is whatever, 208. We just show them the amount of money that they're leaving on the table by not doing this, right? What is holding them back? I honestly don't know. A lot of people do trust the OTAs to a point where it's bananas. It's like they put their whole business trust into them. I always say that they shouldn't have it as their be and end all. They should use it as a marketing channel. So you wouldn't put literally all of your eggs promoting your event on Facebook ads, right? You wouldn't say my whole
Yeah,
business is going to be like relying on Facebook ads, right? Or and it's the same thing. It's like putting your whole marketing and everything on Airbnb. It's just bananas to me. And if you're doing a million, let's say you're doing a million in profit, right? You have gone way past being a hobbyist host. It's gone way past being a lifestyle business. This is something that is on the way to being a pretty substantial thing. If you're doing a million in profit and you're still solely reliant on an OTA, you are doing the future business a disservice, because there will be a case in point in time where somebody will be looking at your business going, quite fancy acquiring you, and they come to you and they go, right, Bart, show us your numbers. Brilliant. Where's all your marketing? Where's all your sales coming from? Everything from Airbnb. They'll just go, thanks very much, see you later. Because they know that your business is not going to be one that they want to acquire because you are so reliant on that one platform coming in, right? Case in point, look at Isaac French, Live Oak Lake over in America. Did you hear about his story?
No, I did not.
So Isaac French, go and check him out. Fantastic future guest for your podcast, by the way, and speaker at one of your events. He created Live Oak Lake. It's in Texas. 7 really nice lodges around a lake, Live Oak Lake. Exited his business, I want to say 18, 24 months ago. And he exited for, I want to say 7 to 8 million US dollars. One of the reasons why, and I think he attributed at least 1 million, maybe 2 million to this. Again, go and check his blog post and Twitter post on it because he is a phenomenal writer. Was due to the fact that he had built a brand, that was sellable. He had built a social media following. His email list was on point. I want to say that at the point of exit, it was over 60% direct bookings, but it added zeros on the end. So his future business and your future business in this made up situation that we have will thank you later. So what's holding you back? I don't know. It should be the fact that you're leaving millions on the business that you'll take that plunge. And that's why one of the things that we do when we get on a call with people and we're in that discovery phase, we always walk them through the calculator because it's like, hey, this is the money that you're leaving on the table right now.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting because, I mean, like, even if we talk about that calculator, it's kind of, you'd have thought that an astute business person would know the numbers and that it's quite obvious, right? That, there's 5 or 10% left on the table. You quite quickly do the math to figure it out. I think the other thing that I found, Mark, is quite often if we're talking about property managers or people that are managing business, that are managing it for other people, they don't include a margin on those direct bookings. So they treat it as like a free channel rather than making a little bit of money from it, right? And saying, well, yes, it's Book Direct is one of the channels. So we've got all the OTAs and they charge you 15 or 20%, be whatever the OTA is. But if we get it direct, then it's only 10%. So you're saving half the money. But then now you've got a new revenue center in your business, and you can start to invest in that platform as well because it's not free. You got to pay for the marketing. You got to do things. And quite often when we talk about not free, I think a lot of people think, oh, well, you've got to go and compete with other people on Google AdWords. It's like, no, that's not what we're talking about. We're saying get the good website to start off with and start doing newsletters and emails and getting people's email addresses and do that branding because that costs money. And you need someone doing that at least part-time, if not full-time, for the business. And then you got to pay them. You take it from that 10% that you took, and then you can start to create this machine, which is another source of revenue. And I really did like as well how you said that having a great strategy around your distribution can add to your multiple in terms of where you are trying to sell the business at some stage. And it's a fact, right? Like that's what happens. You've got more a better brand, you've got more direct bookings, you do command a better market position when you are trying to sell. Any thoughts?
Yeah, well, again, talk about Isaac French, but I can speak about our own story when we exited our family business. So I'm a rare breed. I was born into this industry. I was born into a 200-acre farm stay, bed and breakfast, small hotel, whatever you want to call it, and cottages. And we exited in 2021. The point of exit, we were 80% direct. We were able to sell our family business and retire our parents for a little over 7 figures. And the reason why we could do that was because of the fact that we had built a brand. The investors that were buying in, they saw that they could buy this product, buy this business, and it wasn't solely reliant on Booking.com or whatever the OTAs were that were popular in the UK at that time. So it does happen, even if you're not looking to sell, right? It's just your business will thank you later down the line. And I love that you touched on emails. Emails, I think, is this it's like it shouldn't be unheard of, but it is unheard of. Like the amount of people that don't do it properly or don't do it at all is bananas to me. For every $1 you put into email marketing, you get 42 back. That's 4,200% return of investment, which is not too bad, right? Seeing it, we're all
Mm,
like two investors here. So it will, and forever will be the best form of marketing that there is, because there is no noise. Like when you post on Facebook, you are,
mhm,
0.1% of your followers see that post, right? When you post on Instagram, again, a really low amount of numbers see your post. TikTok, good luck, right? If you've got a listing on Airbnb, as soon as somebody lands on your listing on Airbnb, they're saying, hey, you like this? Come and look at this. There is noise everywhere. When I
mhm.
send you an email, as long as that email is well written, from a good subject headline to a good hook to a good click to action, it's just me and you. It's just writing an email. There's no noise. You've got the attention. And if you do it well, you do it right. It works every time. Like I've been doing it since, well, the MailChimp, when I used to have a MailChimp account for our family business way back in, oh gosh, 2011, 2012.
Yeah.
Whenever we needed bookings, if ever I looked at the calendar and I was like, oof, it's a bit bare, a bit brassic, I'd send an email out and it would work time and time and time again. So that's the power of it.
Mhm. Yeah. I think that's too true. And it's interesting because kind of it felt like email went through this weird curve where people started hating the email, putting everything in spam, and then it was a really hard way to reach people, and it was kind of oversaturated. And now I felt that that's changed actually, in that it's one of the most effective ways to actually to reach out to people and to get in
Well,
front of
look
them.
at
And I think it is.
newsletters.
Pardon me.
Newsletters are back. What newsletters are back? Right?
Mhm.
Everybody's got a newsletter now, right? You see all your favorite gurus online; they've all got a newsletter. They got it for a reason, Newsletters work, and I do feel like a well written email just cuts through the noise. And if you've got something to sell, promote, or even just say, there's nothing better than an email slash newsletter. So for
Let's
everyone, they should be doing it.
Yeah, okay. So let's talk about that. So where we've got a 50 or 100 property short-term rental business, or even we've got a hotel, right? So we're a small hotel somewhere, and we're thinking about doing a newsletter, and it's like, well, Mark, it's all good. We can do campaigns and do things around Valentine's Day, celebrate with your loved one. To be honest with you, from a marketing point of view, it's a bit dull, it's a bit boring. It's a good reason to reach out to people, and then, okay, so we've done the Valentine's one. We've gone into ChatGPT, and ChatGPT has said, oh, you can use seasonality. So now all of a sudden it's we're going from summer into winter over here, or you guys are switching seasons. So spring is coming. But ultimately, if we want to hold that person's attention, and if we want to build a brand like Isaac French, it's not going to cut the mustard in terms of doing it well. I think that what I was talking about before, is those are the basics, right? And things that you can anchor and leverage, but it's a bit dull. What do people do to really think about their email campaigns to bring it to the next level for an audience that is a lot more educated?
I always say that with any form of marketing, you've got to know who you're talking to, right? So first and foremost, know your guest, know your avatar, know the people that are going to be reading it. Um, if you don't live in an area that is predominantly known why people would come back, you're not going to be sending that like if you live on I grew up on a coastal town, Scarborough, right? People come back to Scarborough all the time, right? I know exactly where they are coming from in and around our area. You know what you're going to be talking about. You're going to be talking about the events that are coming up, etc. Then you're not going to be talking about that to that list if you're in an area that's not really well, where people don't come back to. But you've got to find an angle. You've got to find a way. People will pay attention if you feel like the words that you have written are speaking to them. So when they open up that email, it's like, wow, I want to read this. So again, could be education led, could be whatever led. It could be memes. I don't know, whatever whatever grabs their attention, it'll be something that will get them keeping coming back for more. And whether you email every day, once a week, once a month, I don't care. But just do it. But it all boils down to who is going to be picking up that email, who is going to be reading it. Because whether they're going to be sat on the sofa, just checking, scrolling, whether it's like they're on the train, whether it is they're on the toilet. I don't know. It's just like you've got to figure out whenever you're going to be reading it, how can you grab the attention? How can you get them to open it? And it's all down to the people that are going to be opening that. The beauty now with CRMs, like we use Go High Level, so part of Boostly, all of our clients, they get set up with a sub account on Go High Level. So we've got agency account, all of our clients get sub accounts. And one of the things that we do is we give every single one of our clients email templates. So I worked with a phenomenal copywriter. She put together some really well written, crafted emails, and it's obviously generic. We give them to all of our customers. We show them how to plug them into an AI tool that we created, and we get them to personalize it for their business, personalize it to their avatar. It tweaks it a little bit, and boom, it goes straight into the workflow, straight into the automations. Off we go. The way that we've got like that unfair advantage is that we have tons of data. So we've got loads of data that we pull in from our PMS integrations into Go High Level, so our clients can really craft a hyper personalized email to their past guests, or they can craft an email to people that are opting in on the website or opting into different landing pages or squeeze pages, as we call it, on different things that we're creating. So there's loads of ways to do it. There's loads of data out there. I just think, again, I just encourage loads of people just to get started because it is a phenomenal tool.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool. I want to be conscious of the fact that we've only got roughly around about 10 minutes, probably a little bit
Yeah.
less.
Yeah.
And I think there's quite a few topics that I think would be really cool to cover. And, um, we've talked about email a fair bit. Um, I really want to kind of pick your brain and get your thoughts as to where we're going next, because there's a lot of people that claim they know where everything's going in terms of AI and how people are going to behave. And when I say when they behave, it's not about behavior, but what they're going to be doing and how they're going to be interacting with technology. So there are some founders of AI companies that are saying that the mobile phone is dead, that people aren't going to use a mobile phone anymore. It's just all going to be voice activated, and you just talk to it and you say, "Hey, book me a flight to wherever." Now, don't agree with that, but that's all good. We're all meant to be living in the metaverse by now, right? So, so that didn't happen. Um, Narrowing it down, Mark. So AI for Book Direct, where you and I are building websites for everyone and getting them more direct bookings and creating conversions. Uh, Without being self-deprecating to your business, what do you reckon? Like, have we got a shelf life on what the way that we do things now?
Well, the
Maybe
time is
2 years or
ticking.
5 years?
The time is ticking on the traditional website. Yes. I feel like by the end of this decade, so next 4 years, the traditional way you structure a website probably isn't going to be there. That's why we're future planning now. So what we're doing is we're putting in places something where a host can have their information online, but it's not just on their website. It's going to be on millions of websites around the world, right?
Mm,
And we're going to connect them all with a product called Connect. This is what we're working towards. And if I know anything about AI search and AI SEO or GEO or whatever EO you want to call it, is that the way that it gathers its information and the way how it presents it. So if you want to do like a dummy search, go into ChatGPT, go in private mode and type in wherever you are around the world, who's the number one place to stay, or who's your recommended place to stay for families, or who is your recommended management company, or whatever, right? The ones that it pulls up is normal SEO. If there's loads of ranking factors that you have to pay attention to, but with the way that the sources are now, it's just basically how many times is your brand mentioned positively around the internet. That's it, right?
mm,
For a world of hospitality, super simple. You've got reviews, brilliant. Showcase them on your property page. But how can we get that property seen millions of times around the internet? Well, we do that by connecting everything together,
mm.
having tons of resources available, spinning up websites in minutes, if not seconds, and then getting them all around the internet, all of the inventory. I
Yeah,
feel like the direct booking website, if you've got one, so if you've got one of yours or one of mine, we're all right for now. I feel like we've
yeah,
got a good sort of 4 years for that. But I feel like what's going to happen is, again, people say that these are dead. I don't know. I think there's going to be more
I don't think
voiced.
so.
I think more voice is 100%.
Yeah,
Um, I feel like there's always going to be something that you can type or touch or whatever. But I definitely think that these as we know it are definitely going to change. I feel like how we book search or search for travel is going to change rapidly.
Mm,
I feel like it's going to get to a point where we won't be the one doing the searching. We will be the one that's asking something to search for us, whatever you're asking. But
sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think that
100%.
that is definitely going to change. And yeah, I feel like I made a prediction that this is going to be the year or where the autonomous car, this driveless, where we don't drive cars, is going to take a level up. And I think next year is going to be the year of the robots. When robots start being around in the real world, I think that's when people pay attention. At the moment, I still believe that the majority of the people that are using AI are business owners and geeks. Business
Yeah, yeah,
owners
yeah.
and geeks. The general public, like I was in a pub with my mates that I've known since the age of 4. We've all grown up together. We've gone to play school together, preschool, primary school, secondary school, and we meet up like at least twice or 3 times a year now. None of them are business owners. They're all employed, right? I just chatting about Chat GPT, and they looked at me like, I've invented the internet. And I showed them a few things and they were like, oh, that's cool. So I still
Yeah,
think it's new, right? Even though me and you are very like in it every day, and there's so many
sure.
people that we see on LinkedIn and Twitter and whatever in it every day. But I feel like when we truly start to realize this is when there's robots on the streets,
Yeah,
when there's
yeah.
robots in your houses. And I'm not
And
talking your Alexa. I'm not talking those little robot hoovers. I'm talking like
have you got one of those
robots.
Hoovers, by the way?
Which one's the Dream Bot?
No, just a robot vacuum cleaner.
Yeah. Yeah, I've got one. Got two.
The best.
Got one
The
for the kids'
best.
room, got for the
Did
downstairs.
you
I've
want
got
mop
four.
as well?
Yeah, I got the mop. It's crap. It's on
Ah,
its last legs. I need a new one. But we're
get a
going to be
new one.
moving house this year, so I'm waiting to move. But I mean,
They got a lot better. They got a lot better.
yeah.
And I think you're right. But that's the way. I think one of the things that's being missed, though, and I think you touched on it, but I think that this is one of the key things. So for Strive, I had to order pockets for my cards for lanyards,
Yeah.
right? And I need to order like 400 or 500 at a time. And I looked at my quote last year; it was $250. This year, for the same amount, it was around about $600. I'm like, what happened in a year? Everything's going up, but not that much. So I jump online and I start to do my research, and I'm like, oh, I'll find some other companies. And I was like, you know what? This is taking too long. I can't find what I'm looking for. So I put it both into Gemini and into ChatGPT, and I did a deep research saying, hey, this is the problem. Can you go out and find some competitors? And what it did is this, Mark, you'll love it. I found my original source and it said, oh, this company owns these 5 websites,
Hmm.
right? So the parent company owns the 5 websites, and on each website, the same pockets exist at different price points. So then I could find the right price, but at one of its sister websites, it was half the price. I was like, oh God, okay, cool. And then I obviously went that way and bought the product. So I
Hmm.
saved $250 yesterday. Took me probably should have took me 5 minutes. Took me half an hour because I was stuffing around trying to do it myself. When the AI took over and then it did it for me. I think
Hmm.
that this is one of the biggest things that will change is that deep research level where these bots will be able to go through and get pricing. And so when we're talking about direct booking and we're talking about that sort of thing, it will kind of be like, all right, I've seen the property on one of the OTAs. The OTAs probably do their best to make sure that your property is not identifiable, which they won't be able to do, but they're going to try to make sure that you can't identify the brand in any way,
Hmm.
because otherwise it's just going to be a race around price. And where do I get the best price? And that's why price parity, I think, is going to be more and more of a push for the online travel agents. But I think that the website itself, it's kind of like going to be the brochure. This looks really nice. This is really great. But the booking process that you and I work on all the time and making that seamless, I don't think it's going to matter as much because I think people will just be price driven at that point and just wanting the best deal. And the AI will tell them, just book here. That's the best way and the cheapest way to get it.
It's going to be an interesting time. an interesting, as always. I think this decade is we're gonna look back and go, this is a mad decade. How it started, what's happened in the middle, and what's going to come over the next 4 years. But it's fascinating to be part of it. I love being in this industry and having conversations like this. So maybe
Yeah.
one day we can have it on stage at Strive one year.
I'm trying to set them up all over the place, Mark. So you've got no excuse
Yeah.
to not come to one of these. It'll be great to have you next year in Australia. Please come. Would love for everyone to meet you, get to know you, and for you to meet everybody who's over here. So Australia and New Zealand. We've got other ones that are coming up as well. What I would like to get a commitment to from you is it would be great to be able to do this with you at least once a year, or if not every 6 months. Just jump on, get a bit of a state of play where we think things are going. And I think that together, because we're working in the same space, I think we could actually push ourselves a bit further as well, which would be awesome. Folks, if you are listening to this on your podcast, leave us a review. If you're on YouTube, then subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. It does make a massive difference. It means that we can continue doing the work that we're doing, getting awesome guests like Mark on the show. We're going to put all the show notes at the bottom of this episode, so go through and find those. Links to Boosie, links to Isaac French. And I can't remember what else we talked about, but they will be on there. Mr. Mark, thank you so much for coming on, spending your time with us, talking to me. And look, I'm really looking forward to speaking again. Do you have any final thoughts or anything else you'd like to finish off on?
No, I think we covered a lot. I feel like for a lot of people who are scared of direct bookings, just go and do it. And if you need help, got a bar or got an eye, we can both help. So that's what we do. All right, everybody.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much, sir. Have a good evening, and we'll speak soon.
Nice one. Cheers.
Cheers.